She pulled out all the stops. Here is the intro of the episode.
Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, in her first ever podcast interview. It's happening!
It's not about the grandeur of a gesture. It's about I see you. I'm nurturing you and I see you so deeply and I love being able to see your growth. Of all things, it's making me emotional.
I have full body chills right now.
For them to be able to look back and go, oh my gosh, she has loved us so much.
Oh, you know what's going on. Someone wanted a lot of attention and now they got it.
That was the whole episode.
That was the ep.
Yeah.
That was the premise.
She cried, allegedly. But then Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly dropped a podcast-sized truth bomb so savage, it might have short-circuited her tear ducts. Was it heartfelt emotion? Or a performance worthy of a Golden Globe in royal fiction? Either way, the internet's not buying it. And neither are they. Get ready for sarcasm, savagery, and suspicious sniffles. Because this takedown, it isn't just petty, it's Pulitzer-worthy. What really happened behind those royal waterworks? You're about to find out.
Why don't you like her?
Let me count the ways. There's nothing I like about her. She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim. My castle's too small.
Yeah.
The queen is mean to me. They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm going to put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends, while she never stops whining. And at the same time, I'm getting all worked up. I'm a founder. I'm over it. She's not important. She married for money. It's very clear. She bagged the elephant. She was thrilled she became a, quote, prince.
So, Meghan Markle cried, or at least that's what she wants you to believe. Cue the dramatic piano. Dim lights, a moody studio. Enter the Duchess of strategic vulnerability, delivering every word with a pause, as if she's waiting for an invisible audience to reach for tissues. But hang on, where's the tear? Not one, just perfect lighting. A voice trembling on cue, and a performance so polished, you'd think a dialect coach choreographed it. No emotion, just execution, and the internet, they saw right.
So contrast all of that with the way she talks about H and their relationship. Here is it. Is it 46 or 47, Lauren? You choose. Go for it. 47.
But his heart is
All right,
even
this
more
is weird.
beautiful.
I love that your eyes are sparkling right now.
Oh.
Oh my God. Dan, I threw up in my mouth.
Yes. Yes.
Dan, when you do interviews on your show, do you do the Jamie Kern Lima reactions? Yes. Oh my God, there's something wrong with her. What? Wow, who communicates like that? She's the only thing saving Meghan Markle, because between the two, she's even weirder. But Meghan Markle, this is a tell. Okay, this is a tell. It's the same way on Valentine's Day. You see people post like, my rock, my life partner, the person who saved me. Guaranteed that guy's cheating on her.
Enter the skeptics, Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly. Two people who wouldn't trust a weather report from Meghan, let alone a sudden emotional collapse. Perfectly timed with the launch of her brand new podcast season, while they never shared a screen. And Meghan, of course, stayed silent. What unfolded felt like two bulldozers demolishing the same glitter-drenched illusion. One did it with a smirk and receipts. The other laughed through the wreckage like it was a comedy special. No mercy, no hesitation, just two wrecking balls, and one crumbling fairy tale.
Okay, how much time did she have for this when she was on Suits, when she was doing The Tig, when she was trying to land the ginger from the royal family to marry her? Apparently none, by her own admission, but now she wants us to believe, okay, she's a Nigerian and I'll believe it when I see it. I look forward to all the time she spends in Nigeria helping the Nigerian people.
Full disclosure, I do think Harry's a but
He seems to be. And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
First up, Joe Rogan, modern-day gladiator of truth. A man who grills elk meat, questions everything, and destroys fakery with a mic in one hand and conspiracy theories in the other. In a recent episode, he launched into a scorched earth rant. No filters, no mercy, just fire. He didn't drop names. He didn't need to. The glass slipper was in the air. and Meghan practically ran into it. Joe's radar for inauthenticity, sharper than ever. He sniffed out the staged emotions like a bloodhound locked onto a stake. And when he broke down the science of performative crying, it wasn't gentle. It was surgical. With a machete. His question echoed through the studio like a warning shot. Why are podcasts suddenly emotional minefields?
Very strange.
It's very strange.
But it's also very strange that he was, essentially infiltrated by a very ambitious actress. She used to be on
Was
Deal
he
or No
infiltrated?
Deal. She was one of the
Is
Deal
that
or No Deal
technically
ladies.
the way it works? Is he
I
infiltrated
think so.
or was she infiltrated?
Well, it depends on who's
Yeah.
getting pegged.
Yeah.
It depends on the methods.
now
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't.
Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the briefcase.
She didn't like being objectified on Deal. Did you think it was an executive position, ma'am?
Yeah.
You're one of the hot ladies holding up a suitcase for fucking. It's a game show. How are you objectified?
I forgot about that show.
That's literally the show.
When did crying into a microphone become the ultimate badge of authenticity? Because according to Joe Rogan, the modern podcast isn't about truth anymore. It's about trauma quotas and perfectly timed sobs engineered for clicks. And Meghan's show? It hit every single dramatic beat, the drawn-out silences, the deep, breathy tone changes, that shaky voice that sounded like a lip quivering. But where were the tears? If podcasts handed out Oscars, Meghan would already have her acceptance speech ready. But instead of applause, the internet started Googling. Is Meghan Markle acting again? Joe's take? Brutally simple. If you're crying while directing your camera angles, producing your content, and likely editing your own breakdown in post, then maybe, just maybe, it's not raw emotion, maybe it's just a masterclass in performance. Of course, Joe did what he does best. He laughed at the trend, at the performative sadness, at the idea that realness now comes with theme music and hair lighting. But then, it shifted. The laughs faded into something colder. Joe's monologue became an autopsy, not just of Meghan's moment, but of a culture built on perfectly staged pain.
She is the most insecure person I have seen in the public eye in a long time. That is why everything had to be perfectly curated. Who the hell picks berries in a white cashmere blouse and white pants? Literally no one on earth does that. And like this garden, which is like the most over the top. Like we're all supposed to go, Maureen, to make our breakfast in the morning out to our gardens and pick our berries, our raspberries, our strawberries, our blueberries, our snozzberries, and cut our mint and then cut our flowers that are edible. But don't worry, she's a woman of the people. You can grow those just on your windowsill at home.
Sure.
In New York, your edible flowers.
And don't forget your local beekeeper.
Yeah.
Your local beekeeper.
Oh, yeah, because she has a bee hive, which she goes to. That's how they open the whole series with her bees. And like, don't worry, if you don't have this, just go to your local beekeeper. Clearly, we're living in different worlds.
Joe didn't just throw shade, he ignited a wildfire. Sarcasm was his blowtorch, and just when it started burning, Megyn Kelly stepped in like a sniper with a laser pointer and a clipboard. No smirks, no innuendos. She didn't just roll her eyes. She rolled out the evidence, frame by frame. Unlike Joe's subtle takedown, Meghan went full courtroom mode. No filters, no fluff. She called Meghan Markle out by name. And her punchline? If you're gonna fake cry, at least bring eye. Drops. Because here's the thing. You can't claim heartbreak with flawless makeup and zero streaks. No sniffles, no trembling, no tears, just one perfectly contoured cheekbone under soft studio lighting. Meghan didn't see pain, she saw production. She called out every overly staged pause, every emotionally timed voice crack, and that chilling absence of any real breakdown. It wasn't grief, it was graphic design, not sorrow, strategy, and Meghan took us on a forensic deep dive. She treated Meghan's podcast like a crime scene. Every sound, every pause, dissected. This wasn't vulnerability. This was a performance, a well-lit, well-edited monologue, dressed up as raw truth. The Duchess didn't reach for a tissue. She reached for the mic and delivered a breakdown, worthy of reality TV. Only without the reality, so now we're left wondering,
thing she found was a rich, famous husband. If that's what constitutes being a founder, then sure, Meghan Markle's a founder. She found a mansion in Montecito to live in. She found a sit-down interview with Oprah to bash and shank her in-laws and accuse them of racism. But founding, putting your name on some cheap jellies, jams, and dog biscuits, I don't know, sounds like a fall from grace for
Meghan didn't stop at the podcast. No, she took it up a notch. The tears timed perfectly, right as her new brand initiative launched. Coincidence? About as likely as snow in the Sahara. Just like that, the wounded Duchess reappeared, pouring out her soul at the exact moment she needed to. And of course, her name needed to trend. The public, they saw through it all. Clear as day, social media exploded. One user zoomed in on her eyes, dry as the desert. Another did a side-by-side, real tears versus Meghan's tears. Reddit turned into an investigation hub, charts, memes, even a whiteboard with string connecting her to eye drops. No one was buying it, not when the breakdown seemed squeezed between hair touch-ups and meetings. And the monologue, it ended with a PR rollout slicker than a royal banquet. Then the timing? Too perfect. Vulnerability dropped in the middle of a massive PR push. You could practically hear the PR team backstage. Cue the tears. Action.
Also, I'm a little bit fascinated, right? The mother was born in America. The father was born in America. But Meghan is now telling us that she's 43% Nigerian?
This is the most ridiculous. This is the same woman who said, I never even considered my blackness until the British tabloids started to make a thing out of it. Never even. Now she's like, I am Nigeria. Fellow women, hear me roar. I mean, who is she kidding?
This wasn't pain. It was packaging. What we witnessed wasn't raw honesty. It was reheated leftovers from her Oprah interview, now with better sound and more podcast filters. Joe and Meghan formed the perfect duo. He brought gut instincts, sarcastic eye rolls. She brought legal jargon and courtroom lighting. He mocked the entire concept while she meticulously broke it down. They didn't need to collaborate. Their points collided like arrows targeting the same cardboard crown. And all Meghan had to do? Simulate emotion. With the sincerity of a Hollywood script read through. To some, she's an icon of resilience. To others, she's the queen of emotional monetization. And it's no surprise people are skeptical. This is the same woman who begged for privacy, yet starred in a Netflix doc, graced magazine covers, and now had a tearless breakdown aired worldwide. Nothing screams, leave me alone, like a perfectly engineered podcast monologue about your pain, complete with dramatic music and soft focus lighting.
This is a true story. One time, I just woke up, I'm in my underwear, I plop down in front of the TV, I turn it on. The moment I turn it on, Prince Harry's talking shit about me. I'm like, I just woke up! I'm vulnerable! I'm in my underwear and there's a prince on TV. Do you know how fucking weird it is when a prince knows your name? He's like, Joe Rogan's giving out dangerous vaccine misinformation! And my first thought was, fuck, did I? I might have. But here's my take on that, sincerely. If you're getting your vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault?
It's not the story that's bothering people. It's the packaging, the polished gloss, the carefully constructed image, the feeling that every single emotion, even the sadness, is part of the brand. If Meghan truly wanted to show raw vulnerability, she could have dropped the production crew and just grabbed her iPhone from the kitchen. But instead, what we got felt more like a Sundance submission than an actual confession. Every detail, every frame screamed calculated. Joe and Meghan didn't need to sit together or even share notes. They just reacted, just like most of the public did. A mix of disbelief, secondhand embarrassment, and a bit of cringe. Joe went in sarcastically. Meghan took the emotional gut punch route, but both ended up at the same conclusion. Calling out this whole charade for what it truly was. Emotional manipulation disguised as empowerment. And here's where it gets even more twisted. Meghan Markle has somehow figured out how to stay in the headlines by doing everything in her power to escape them. It's like she's cracked the secret of disappearing in 4K. One minute she's royalty, the next she's a rebel, then a podcast star, then a victim. It's a never-ending one-woman rebrandathon. And every chapter, comes with a carefully orchestrated emotional subplot.
Someone who's also acting as a founder inspired this scene from the With Love Megyn, Megyn, Maureen and I, before we did Blonde Origin. And here's a clip from that special production.
Where are you getting all these like mini brainstorms? I'm so impressed by this.
You have to be a founder to really,
I guess,
understand it fully, but maybe in the next wave of our friendship, I'll try to explain it to you. Hold that tight, please.
Okay.
This, of course, didn't come out of the ether. I want to play for you the latest bit from her podcast, which is called Confessions of a Female Founder. Here she is.
I think about big milestones for my own business with As Ever. I mean, Netflix coming on as my business partner, huge. Just having a global powerhouse that believed in me and the site selling out in the first 45 minutes of launch, every single piece that we had been working on, that told me that customers, people believed in me and this vision. That's all you really want as a founder.
The only thing she found was a rich, famous...
Just when you thought Meghan's podcast couldn't get more performative, in walks the unlikeliest duo of the year, Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly. Two complete opposites in the media world. One is the king of podcast bro culture, the other, a cutting, sharp critic who can dissect a press release in seconds. Yet here they are, forming the most unexpected alliance. A bizarre dance of disdain, heading straight toward the same conclusion. Meghan Markle's tears, they weren't real. This was a production. Joe, ever the expert in sarcasm, didn't need to go overboard. He pulled out his toolkit for mockery. It was like watching someone gently dismantle a masterpiece with a podcast mic and a cigarette. No shouting fraud, just a tilt of the head, a smirk, and the rest was pure sarcasm. It was genius. A passive-aggressive farewell to Meghan's credibility.
Hanging out with Meghan and Harry since they've been in California?
No, I don't know them.
What do you think of them?
I admire Harry for going to Afghanistan. Anybody who's had military service, I can only criticize so much because I haven't. And there's nothing that compares to military service. But they're ridiculous after that. They want it both ways. You know, you can't be, these people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention, and then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
Meghan didn't just critique the acting, she dissected the emotional timeline, matching it with Spotify's release schedule like a seasoned investigator. This wasn't just commentary, it was a forensic breakdown. The verdict? Not a spontaneous breakdown. This was an emotional IPO launch. Meghan wasn't crying for help. She was crying for conversion rates. Two distinct personalities, two different approaches. But one undeniable truth. Those tears weren't raw emotion. They were strategically engineered. Her vulnerability hit harder than a Hallmark movie marathon and felt just as calculated. Let's be honest. If the sobbing hits right when the music swells and the podcast logo slides in, that's not a breakdown. That's a carefully crafted scene. While everyone else reached for tissues, Joe and Meghan grabbed popcorn and a magnifying glass. This wasn't about empathy, it was about exposure. And just when you thought it couldn't get more dramatic, what happens when someone delivers a performance so exaggerated, so perfectly lit, it makes a soap opera look like real-life footage? You give them an award show, obviously.
They just strike me as creatures of that generation. You know, you're just fragile. You know, just take a hint from the Queen, the recently departed.
Never complain, never explain, and rarely be heard speaking in public.
You're complaining about your hard life, and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous. I totally.
Imagine this. A glamorous, candlelit room. The camera zooms in on a room full of disbelieving onlookers and royal advisors nervously glancing at each other. The silence is deafening. And then a single tear glides down her cheek. But hold up. This isn't about real emotion. This is about weaponizing emotion. When crying becomes content, when tragedy isn't just felt, it's monetized. Meghan Markle didn't just cross the line between pain and promotion. She live-streamed it, edited it, and hit publish. And here's the mic drop. When your entire brand is built on pain, make sure your script doesn't show through the tears. But that tear, it's still missing. Somewhere out there, a lone tear rolls down an acting coach's cheek. Not for Meghan, but for the performance that could have been. The royal family may deal in crowns and castles, but Meghan Markle, she deals in narratives. And this latest. 1. It's a masterpiece of dramatic flair, perfectly timed music, and a calculated pause before the tears. So what did we learn here? That Joe Rogan can spot phony from a mile away, like a truffle pig in a Hollywood forest. That Megyn Kelly can sniff out media manipulation like it's her job, which, well, it kinda is. And that Meghan Markle, once again, she underestimated the public's ability to smell a scripted sob from a mile away. If she was aiming for empathy, she missed. What she got was satire. If she was hoping for connection, she landed on commentary. And if she really thought this podcast moment would be her most authentic yet, maybe it's time she listens to the playback. But hey, next time, maybe she'll actually cry. Or at least hire a sound editor to add in some sniffling for effect. Until then, Meghan Markle remains the queen of controlled chaos.